Zach, is Tarik on?
So I just realized that his phone has not been working the last couple of days, and he didn't realize. So I'm sending him. So Skylar, I'm interacting with Skylar now, and we're figuring it out. So I should be. Give me a minute or two.
Some of the attendees, are iPhone. I don't know who iPhone.
iPhone 2, I think, is my dad.
Okay.
I
want to make sure.
iPhone, that me.
Oh yeah, iPhone is Calix.
Calix. Okay.
Yeah.
Can we zoom through and look at these people? I don't know who these people are.
So we're just missing Tarik, right?
I think so. Let's see. There's Luke Fay, and is Luke Guest, Luke Guard. Yep, I see Luke Guard over there. Okay.
Hey, so are you near him? What? Oh my gosh, we're starting right now. I don't. Like literally everybody, like the media, they're all waiting. So much stuff. Okay, so all right. What other way other than Twitter DMs for me to contact them?
All right. We'll wait on Zach to get back, and he's working on connecting us with Tarik Silver. We'll go ahead and get started because I was going to let our baseball guys speak first. First of all, I just want to say thank you to all of you for making the time this afternoon to join us. We've obviously had a lot of things disrupted over the last month. Game-wise, men's basketball not being able to advance on and play in their national tournament, and then the abrupt ending of our spring sports seasons. But thankfully, technology allows us to move forward with some things, and this is always a big afternoon for us and a fun opportunity. It's a way to celebrate a real significant accomplishment by our student athletes. So the opportunity to still recognize them today on the start of signing day. We wanted to make that happen. And, typically we don't get to do it right as the signing period starts because we're in baseball and softball practice, or one or the other has a game on the schedule, and we usually have to do it 3 or 4 days later. But the opportunity to do this today is exciting because you've been following on social media. You've been seeing a lot of the colleges announcing that those LOIs have been trickling in. So, with that, this is a fun opportunity for us. So the way we'll do this, going to have our baseball guys go first. And we always ask, one, you introduce yourself, tell us where you're from, obviously let everyone know where you have decided to attend in the fall. And then if you'll give us just a sentence or two on why you made that decision. And then after each student announces, I'll open it up for media to ask any questions, individually, and we'll go down the list. And then when we've completed each one, Bob, I see you on there. Allison, I know you're there too. If y'all want anything additional, we'll keep those guys around and give you a chance to get a little more one-on-one.
So Tarik should be joining us any second.
Okay, thanks, Zach. One-on-one type interview. hit the admit button up here. And so what I'm going to do, I will keep everybody muted. And as I go down the list, Leighton Ali will be the first one. I'll unmute Leighton. And then when he's finished, I'll unmute everybody so that any media can ask questions if you'd like. So again, with that said, we'll start off. Layton Ali, we've got 2 members of the baseball team, Layton Ali and Luke Ard, and then we have 6 for men's basketball. And Layton, let me find you on the list here, and I'll unmute you. There you go. Floor is yours.
All right. My name is Layton Ali. I'm from St. Augustine, Florida. I recently just committed to play baseball at Florida State. What led me to that decision was just it's always been a dream of mine. I grew up watching Florida State baseball, football, and everything. So ever since I was little, it's always kind of been a goal of mine. So for that to be able to come true, it's been really exciting for me. So, yeah.
All right, any questions for Layton?
Yeah, I guess I have one, Allison. You mentioned it being a childhood dream. You're going from TCC to FSU, so right down the street. Just how exciting is it, to live a dream? Not everybody gets to play in college, but to be able to do that and again, just travel right down the street to do it. Just how cool is that to be able to be a Florida State Seminole?
Oh, it's really cool. Just getting to stay in Tallahassee. I really love Tallahassee, and I've also got family in Tallahassee. My whole dad's side of the family grew up there, Tallahassee. So also to be able to have family and be close to home and everything like that.
Layton, it was a shortened season for you, but what was it like to be a part of Coach McLeod's 1,000?
It was a ton of fun. Going into the season, we kind of had an idea how many wins we needed to 1,000. So it was a really big accomplishment for him and us. But it's really disappointing we didn't get to finish this whole season out. Kind of starting to cook a little bit, so it was sad that it had to end that way. But it was, at least we got him that 1,000 wins. So.
Hey, Leighton, what are some of your early memories of Florida State baseball, either watching games on TV or going to Hauser, maybe growing up?
So I remember early they used to always have the ACC tournament, baseball tournament in Jacksonville. So I used to always go watch them, and I always remember watching Buster Posey back then. Also, another game, they always play Florida in a jumbo game once a year. So being able to go to those games and seeing players in the past and stuff was always really fun.
Hey, Rob.
Yes.
Just I don't know if we can, just for aesthetics for me to get the full screen. Can we mute everybody when he's talking? Because if not, it jumps from person to person.
Gotcha. That's what.
I'm trying to get a full screen shot of him when he's talking, and I'm seeing everybody else.
That's what I was trying to get.
I'm sorry.
Let's see. All right. I think I have everybody muted, but Layton now. Layton, you want to go through some of those last comments again one more time?
Yeah. So he was talking about my first couple of memories. I mentioned the ACC tournament used to be held in Jacksonville every year, and I used to go out there with my family. And that was when Buster Posey was on the team, so he was always kind of an idol to me growing up watching him. And also the Florida State game in Jacksonville, they play that every year in the Jumbo Strip Stadium. So those are things I always kind of went to and just kind of started building memories and building my dream to become or to go to Florida State and play there one day. So, yeah.
right. Anything else for Leighton? Allison, I see you raise your hand. You got anything else?
On. Okay. Yeah, I guess just I already asked you just the excitement of playing for Florida State, but it's such an uncertain time for a lot of athletes right now. You know, not really knowing where they're going to be able to go, especially with the shortened season. To know that you have a home, you know, for the next couple of years, just are you thankful for that? Is it just good the way everything worked out?
I'm definitely thankful for it. It was definitely kind of relief for me. You know, like when the season got canceled, it was just as college coaches were able to come out and watch us and scout us and everything like that. So from that standpoint, it definitely cut us short. And then like the couple weeks after the season, you know, a lot of us were just kind of left hanging, not knowing exactly what was going on or what our options were going to be. So when things started coming in for me and I started to have a couple options to choose from, it was definitely a relief for me. And then once I got the call from Florida State, it was just a no-brainer for me.
All right. And Allison, Bob, Luke, if you want to, if you have questions or have an additional question, if you want to hit that raise hand button, I can see that easily over here in the participants list, and I'll be sure to grab you, and that way I can keep everybody muted as long as possible. So, all right, Leighton, well, thank you very much. All right, let me find Mr. Luke Ard here on the attendees list. And Luke Ard, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, you're up.
All right, hello everybody. My name is Luke Ard. I'm from Valdosta, Georgia, and I'm attending Valdosta State University next year. And I'm glad that I picked Valdosta State because it's in my hometown, and I get to come back and be with a bunch of my friends that I grew up with. And it's a great school. They got a great baseball program, and I'm just really satisfied with my choice.
Allison?
Yeah, just Valdosta State, obviously we cover a lot of Blazer athletics. Just, again, to be able to play in your hometown, I mean, not everybody gets to do that. Just how neat is that? And when the opportunity arose, was it a no-doubter that that's where you were going to
go? It is very neat for me. At first, I thought I would not like coming back to my hometown, but actually I'm very glad that I did. And I feel like I'm more confident that I am home. And I'm just happy to be a Valdosta State Blazer.
Just as a follow-up and kind of a generic question, but it's kind of a weird day. I mean, normally Rob was saying earlier we do these signing ceremonies in the gym, not with your teammates, not with your peers, but just doing this over Zoom. I mean, kind of a unique experience, something it's not ideal, but something you won't forget for sure.
Yes, that's for sure. It's a little different because I've been at TCC for 3 years, so I've seen 3 different signings, and they've always been in the gym and always been around my teammates, even the basketball team, softball team, all the other teams, and being at home and doing it is kind of different, but it's also, I mean, it's kind of unique at the same time.
Luke Fay, you had a question.
Luke, you mentioned you spent 3 years at TCC. Last year you were injured, and this year you were finally back healthy. What was it like 3 years at TCC and then your last year with your brother on the team?
Having 3 years at TCC was a blessing. It was fun. It was very fun. Playing for Coach McLeod was an awesome experience, and playing with my brother the last year was another awesome experience that I got to play with him in high school. And I mean, it's not every day that you get to play with your brother and at a college, university, or at a JUCO and stuff like that. So I'm very glad and honored to play for TCC.
Allison, did you have something else for Luke? guess not. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn it over to Coach Mike McLeod and let him say a few words about these two guys.
Can you hear me?
You're loud and clear.
I just want to say how proud I am of both these guys. These guys were solid people, great teammates, great guys, guys that bought in completely, and they're going to be very missed. It's hard to get that maturity in junior college like we have with this year's bunch. And Leighton, I don't think everybody realizes about Leighton. He came over here to play football first as a quarterback under Jimbo, and it's just an amazing story what has happened with him as far as his stuff and how he persevered. A tough freshman year, and then he come back and changed his arm slot, and the world opened up to him, and he had a lot of guys very interested in him, and I couldn't be more proud. We've sent a bunch of sidearmers over there over the years with Marsh and Bennett and now Layton, and I think he's going to do wonderful things. And then Luke, I love him like a son. I had the opportunity to coach his father almost 30 years ago in professional baseball, and to have both of Johnny's sons playing for me is just something that I'll never forget. Luke is as solid as they come. He's a great person. He's a great teammate. He came here as a pitcher, developed more as a player, because 2 years ago, remember, we had a great pitching staff, and so Luke actually helped us more as a position guy, and now has transitioned back to pitching and is going to do some incredible stuff. His stuff has gotten so much better, and I'm an idiot for not pitching him sooner the second go-round, but he's going to really light it up over there. He's throwing about 88, 89 with a short breaking ball, and it's going to be real good. And I'm so proud of both these guys. They're just great people, and they come from good stock, and they're going to be very missed at TCC.
First of all, is that deer that I see just roaming in your backyard there?
Yeah, I just realized I saw it in the reflection, and I turned, and there's a bunch of deer back there. So Leighton heads Luke's the killer. There they go. So we've also had some turkeys running through here this morning. So these guys have all been out here for the annual skeet shoot. And Luke's the champion of skeet shooting at the McLeod house. So.
All right. Joe Lamar, welcome to Tallahassee. Did you have a question for Coach? I see your hand up.
Yeah, I wanted to ask Coach, obviously, things being different now, what's been the biggest change that you've seen when it comes to recruiting and, wanting to sign players? Like what has this pandemic made you shift when it comes to recruiting?
It hadn't made a shift. It's kind of made us shut down because we've got 20 kids coming back. We had, 3 or 4 sophomores sign in the fall, and now Luke and Layton have signed. But the rest of the sophomores, and we got some good ones, have decided to come back, which has filled our roster. And we've got some red shirts that we really like that are coming back. Plus, we signed 10 high school guys early. So basically, we've got nothing to put on the table for anybody at this point unless something changes. So really, Joey, it's shut down for the Eagles right now. We're happy with what we've got. But every day you hear about a guy that's just a dude. And I mean, every day I get an email from a guy, then you start reading the bio and all that stuff, and that they're dudes. And we can't do a thing about it. And so they're going to have to go somewhere else right now. But basically, it's really going to jam things up. And Layton brought up a good point. There was a lot of uncertainty when our season ended for all the sophomores because the D1 had just opened up. They were just now starting to be able to get out and see our guys and recruit our guys. And so it ended, just like that. But luckily, Layton had put up some incredible numbers. And, he was that guy. Everybody talks about the save guy. We had a great closer. We had a guy named Nolan Daniels that signed early with Purdue. Great closer. But the what goes unnoticed is when these guys come in and shut it down in the 6th and the 7th, when stuff is starting to really brew. And that's when Leighton would come in the 6th, 7th, and 8th and set it up for Nolan to finish it off. And I put Leighton in some untenable situations at the fault of mine. I mean, bases loaded, no outs, and this guy would come in and just shut it down and strike out 2 guys and get a ground ball. And the job that he did was incredible this year. And then I got way off track here thinking about those guys. But again, going back to recruiting, we're shut down right now.
Allison?
I'm good.
You're good? All right.
Yeah.
Let's see. Bob, did you have anything for Coach McLeod?
Good. Thank you.
All right. Coach mentioned that we had 3 early signees. Just to recap who those were, it was Nolan Daniel, pitcher who signed with Purdue, Cyrus Grimes, outfielder, he signed with Marshall, and Alan Roulette, left-handed pitcher with South Alabama. Those were our 3 early signees in the fall. And Joy, if you'll stick around, until we wrap up, and I'll keep Leighton on. I can connect you with him if you'd like, because he was a Florida State announcement there, so I didn't want you to miss that opportunity. All right, so we'll move on to our men's basketball signees now. Just a couple of notes about this class. Went back, did some research, combined with the 2 early signees that we had in the fall, and that was Yael Hill to Cleveland State, Calix Stevens to Indiana State. This is going to be the largest signing class from TCC since 2014. We had 9 who transferred out and signed that year, but this is going to be the largest class of Division I signees in school history. So there is a unique historical perspective to this group, and it's been a lot of good news, a lot of good social media engagement from all of these guys, baseball and basketball over the last couple of weeks as everyone has started to announce. So that's been fun to watch. So first up, we'll turn it over to DeAndre. And DeAndre, are you there? DeAndre Golston, can you hear me?
Someone's changed.
Hey, so again, just to recap, give us a brief introduction about yourself, where you're from, and then let us know where you have signed and a couple of thoughts on why you made that choice.
Yeah, DeAndre Golston from Gary, Indiana.
All right, DeAndre, try that again for us. All right, we're going to go back to him. He appeared for just a second, so he may be in his
Yeah,
spot.
Mr. Chaney, hear me?
Okay, I hear you now. Go for it.
You're moving, making the sound out.
Yeah. Okay. DeAndre Golston from Gary, Indiana. I decided to sign to the University of Milwaukee, and it's 2 reasons I signed there. I think it's a great fit for me, and 2, I think it put me in the best position to be successful, short term and long term.
All right. Joy, Allison, anybody with questions for DeAndre? Luke Fay, go.
DeAndre, if I recall, they visited you in the state tournament. What was it like for them to come out and show that interest as you started the postseason?
It just showed me that they really, wanted me and, made me a priority because, it's a lot of other players they could have wanted saw, other regions or, just other teams, period, and I think it showed me that they wanted me.
Did you think that playing for Zach was going to be as tough as he described it when he first recruited you?
Yes, I think so because he was truthful in his recruiting. He told the truth about how hard it was, how tough it would be, how competitive it would be, and he was a man of his word. He kept his word. It was hard, but it paid off in the end.
Thanks.
Allison, Joy, anything for DeAndre?
I guess I'll ask DeAndre, when you look back to where you were when you came in and you look to where you are now, what part of your game do you think has improved the most and what part do you still think that you need to work on?
DeAndre, are you still there?
Yeah, it's on the trip. You can hear me now?
There you go.
Yeah. I think the most thing that improved my game is my shooting ability. Our staff emphasized, shooting for our team, and it paid off big time for our team the whole season. A part of my game that still needs to improve, I think, decision making with the ball. That's what I think I can improve on the most.
All right. Thank you very much. Are you on Davon's phone?
Yeah, I'm on Davon's phone.
Okay. I got you. I know what's happening now. All right, very good. Let's move to Erick Esther. Eric, you can hear me?
How you doing? Can you hear me?
It's not Erick Esther. Where's Eric? There he is. Erick Esther.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
I'm good.
Gotcha. Say something I can't. I don't think I can hear anybody.
Eric, you're unmuted. Go ahead.
Okay, there we go. My name is Erick Esther. I'm from Clearwater, Florida. I decided to sign and commit to Prairie View University. What made me make this decision was, I felt real comfortable with the coaching staff. They've been to the tournament the past 2 years and has won their conference in the last 3 years. So, that's been my goal, to get back to the tournament and to play in the tournament and pretty much a big goal for me.
Okay. Allison, Joy, Luke.
Yeah, I got a question. Same kind of thing that I was asking everybody else. It's such a weird time. To not be able to sign kind of in front of all your peers, your teammates and everything, because we should normally be in the gym right now signing, but just to share this moment over Zoom, a little bit different, but is it something that you'll remember?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to see everybody, here, and taking time out of their day and to make this happen. This is definitely going to be a special moment. This team is always forever going to be special to me.
Luke Fay.
Eric, Zach told me that he met you at a diner in the middle of the night to get you to come to TCC. Is that the best decision you've made? And going off of that, you've made a bunch of big shots for TCC. What was your favorite?
My favorite will definitely be the game winner I had, the buzzer beater I had earlier in the season. I'm trying to remember who that was against.
Andrew College, yes. That was
definitely my biggest shot, period, over my basketball career. So.
And then what did Zach say to you in that diner to bring you to TCC?
Really, pretty much, he just came and just gave me opportunity. I didn't really have much opportunity before Zach came, and that's pretty much all I needed. He really didn't have to say much. He was like, what are you doing here? You're working at Walmart. You need to, you deserve more and you deserve better. So.
And then lastly, I was looking at Prairie View's roster. They had, I believe, 10 JUCO guys. Did that make you feel comfortable that coach recruited JUCO?
Yes, absolutely, it does. So he's real familiar with the JUCO guys, and that definitely put me at easier making my decision.
All right. I see a hand raised from Ratio. Who's Ratio?
That's Horatio, Rob. Ignore it.
Okay.
Next.
So he doesn't need it. I'm going to lower his hand. Hey, Luke, for point of clarification, Zach did post something to me by chat. He said Davon was the diner. I'm sure that's the only diner Zach has been in. But the diner conversation was Davon Stevens, apparently.
Yeah.
Well, Eric was in a gorgeous apartment in Akron. This team is so special in more ways than one, Rob. I can't even begin to express the group chat between our guys right now. And I thought it would be nice to have everybody in the office and we could control the setting, but then we're all standing in the same room, so there's an echo. Nothing like this team. We would have made an incredible 8 episodes of Last Chance U. That I know.
All right. Thank you, Eric. All right. We'll move on here. Up next is Ryfin Miguel. Ryfin.
Hello?
I hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I'm Ryfin Miguel. I'm from Africa, Angola. And I'm going to be next season. I'm going to be playing for Ohio University.
Why Ohio?
Well, it was one of the hardest decisions I had to make. It's just because I had a lot of schools that was great fit for me. So basketball wise was a hard decision, but I had to make a decision based on not basketball stuff. So it was a little hard to make this decision, but I'm comfortable with my decision and I'll be attending Ohio University.
Okay. Luke, Allison, Joy, any questions for Ryfin?
You said you had to make a decision based on some non-basketball decisions. Do you care to elaborate on that?
Yeah. I'm saying, like, basketball-wise, I believe that all the schools that was recruiting me was providing me the same conditions. So I had to go look into stuff of the court, look in relationship with the coaches, and to be able to make my decision.
Ryfin, you were a late addition to Zach's squad in the summer. What was the decision to come to Tallahassee, and how do you think your career turned out being underneath Zach?
I think that's the best thing I did because I received a call from Zach. That was the only day I talked to Zach. I talked to Zach, I believe it was like on the weekend, and Sunday I was in Tallahassee. So I believe it is the best thing I did, and it was really hard. It wasn't hard to come to Tallahassee, I say it like that, because I was leaving a program, so I was looking to schools to get into, and when I received the call from Zach, it was like the green light for me.
right. Anything else for Ryfin? All right. Thanks, Ryfin. All right. Up next is Tarik Silver. Let's see. Is Tarik on someone else's phone? I'm looking for him on the list here.
It says iPhone, Rob.
Got it. There he is. iPhone guest.
There we go.
All right,
Hello?
Tarik.
All good.
Y'all can hear me?
Yes.
Hey, Tarik.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Tarik Silver. I decided to further my athletic education at Oregon State University. Yeah.
Why Oregon State?
I mean, they've been recruiting me since September. I mean, they believed in me. I mean, they have an instant need for me. And it's a level that, you know, I felt like, you know, I wanted to play at. It's a high competitive level. I get to play against pros, and at the end of the day, that's where I want to be. And I feel like, you know, to beat the best, you know, to be the best, you have to beat the best. And that's just a, you know, situation I want to be a part of. And plus, I think it's a great fit for how they run their offense and a playing style for me. So it all just worked out.
Allison, anything for Tarik?
Yeah, I guess just, you know, listening to your teammates talk, and they all say, you know, coming to TCC is the best thing we ever could have done. And I know I've asked you before just about going the JUCO route and making. How much has this experience changed, I guess, kind of the JUCO experience, and what have you learned?
I really learned that, you know, I mean, going JUCO, I think it put a different level of hunger in me that I know I didn't have before. I mean, coming here in JUCO, I mean, everybody wants the same thing. And I mean, we all had to work. And I mean, playing for us, I mean, you know, I mean, as of right now, I mean, 8 Division I signees, I mean, it just showed how competitive practice was every day. So, I mean, being here and having to compete night in and night out, I mean, getting guys better. Everybody on the roster, you know, came in with the dog mentality. I mean, it was just a great experience. And like everybody else says, I mean, playing for Coach Zach and playing for everybody, I mean, it was just the best decision I made my whole life.
Joey, anything for Tarik? Luke Fay.
Tarik, you got you're really the figurehead for this TCC signing class. What's it like going to be able to play in the Pac-12, and how has TCC, you know, you've really come on at TCC. What was the difference between your previous school and then coming to TCC?
I mean, the first question you asked, I'm playing at the Pac-12. I feel like, you know, it's something that's going to be really exciting for me. I mean, playing at that level, getting to showcase my ability. I mean, I feel like I can compete at any level that I go to, and it's just one stepping stone to getting there. And like I said earlier, I mean, practicing with these guys every single day and having to compete in practice, I think that kind of prepared me for it, because going up there and being in the Pac-12 is going to be a battle night in, night out. And practices at TCC was a battle every single day. So, I mean, it's just a situation that I feel really comfortable with. And then, I mean, difference between TCC and my other schools is really just I mean, I would say the family atmosphere from coaches to players. I mean, we bonded fast. I mean, like Coach Zach said, man, last year you missed out, man. They should have came down here to Tallahassee, man, because we would have had something in store for them. I mean, we had a lot of great moments. I mean, a lot of moments that, you know, is going to last forever. The relationships that we all developed is going to be lifelong relationships. And, I mean, it was just a great experience.
All right, anything else for Tarik? All right, thanks, Tarik.
No problem.
All right, and our last one, Avon Stevens. Avon, floor is yours.
Yeah, my name is Davon Stevens. I committed to Coastal Carolina. I don't know what else we said. From Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Why Coastal?
Davon, sit down up against the TCC thing. Okay, sit down. Stop walking with the lights. Talk about how excited you are to play for a Hall of Famer at Coastal Carolina, how it's in Myrtle Beach, how you came from a walk-on to Eastern Michigan to be a full scholarship Division I player. That's what you want to talk about.
I was waiting on the questions, Coach. My bad, man. But no,
give us the version. Why did you pick Coastal Carolina?
I chose Coastal because they was the main ones were really recruiting me. Like the only school that I really talked to like consistently. Like Coach Allison's called my phone a lot. I got to talk to the head coach, and then it was like the environment. They got a great environment around me, and the school's nice. It's right next to the beach. Can't beat it.
All right, questions for Davon.
Davon, tell us about your infamous talk over at the diner with Zach.
Oh man, the talk at the diner, it was probably like a good 25 minutes long. He came in there, but he told me like it's gonna be hard. You gotta come in and work. We bring in a lot of good guys. Like if we bring in a whole bunch of talent, it was like he just kept asking, like, "Are you ready to work? Are you ready to put in the work to be on this team?" And it's like after that, and he told me how he coached, and I said I needed a coach like him. So it was just like ever since I diner talked with him, he just showed me like the type of person he is, and that was just ever since that it was it. Like, chose TCC.
Zach told me that Tarik was your agent and the reason why you came to TCC. What's it like to have a guy in that camp?
Oh, it was me and Reek met a bond from Eastern, so it was like me and Reek were always talking. Like he called my phone talking about we might as well go up there together up to TCC, and like he kept telling Zach like we need him. Like he was on Zach a lot about him. Like if it wasn't for Reek, I probably wouldn't be here.
Allison, did you have a question?
Yeah, just, I mean, Zach was mentioning it. I mean, your journey to get here, all of you guys have such unique stories, but just without TCC, I mean, do you think that you would be where you are today, signing to play Division I basketball at Coastal?
To be honest, I really don't know. I can't really say I would be signing somewhere else or not, because if I never came, I don't know where I would be at. To be honest, I really don't know.
I mean, how thankful are you that Zach, again, came and talked to you in that diner? And, I mean, you are where you are. How thankful are you?
I'm very thankful. Like, very. I'm super thankful for Zach to even drive all the way out to the city. That's a long drive to come all the way out there to the city.
All right. Anything else for Davon? All right. Zach Satembre, I'm going to turn it over to you. Let you say some words about this group.
Did Jordan go?
No, we're going to hold
Jordan
off
is
on
working.
him
Jordan's
today.
working through his admissions process, so we're just going to wait, and we'll have another signing day because we got a few more guys that are going to sign Division I.
Okay, so just the 5 today.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, Rob, all good?
Yep, your turn.
Well, first thing, I want to say thank you to everybody for hanging in there with us. It's 2:43, so I appreciate everybody listening to each guy talk. That's awesome. Congrats to Coach McLeod on win number 1,000, an incredible career at Tallahassee, and having a guy go to Florida State and another guy at Valdosta. That's awesome. This Tallahassee family really is a family. I think that word sometimes gets overused, but certainly at Tallahassee, our athletic program and our basketball program is one that family really does mean something. This group does have a lot of unique stories. Erick Esther had a couple stops before he got here and found a home here. Tarik Silver came after 2 years at Eastern Michigan and really recreated and reinvented himself as a shooter, as a scorer. He was an unbelievable leader all year for us. Erick Esther, another guy, just a tremendous leader. DeAndre Golston came in, worked exceptionally hard, didn't play a ton as a freshman at Kent State, and came here and really found a starring role, had a fantastic year, was an all-conference guy. Everybody that's signing today was all conference in the Panhandle Conference. So, Davon was an honorable mention, all Panhandle Conference guy. But we have tremendous depth in this program. But if you keep going through each guy, DeAndre Golston, Erick Esther, Tarik Silver. We've talked about Davon going to Coastal Carolina. Coming And the thing that makes all these guys, right, like Rife and Miguel, basically reinvented himself, rewrote his story at Tallahassee, coming from another junior college. He had a huge year here after having an average, maybe even a slightly below average freshman year, and came here and he worked. All these guys committed to working exceptionally hard. The guys that we haven't mentioned, Jordan Guest, Yael Hill, who signed early in the fall with Cleveland State. Great to see Caleb Stevens on here with his Indiana State shirt on today. 2 guys that came from Division II. All 8 of these guys, and we're not done yet. DeAndre Robinson, Josiah Mitchell, and maybe Horatio Carr will all be Division I guys when it's all said and done. This program really and truly embodies family. To listen to the group chat, the separate chat that we're having while this is going on, just shows you, to see it, shows you how close this group is. There's no substitute for family. There's no substitute for having people that you can rely on and look to and turn towards when things are hard. This group went through a lot of ups and downs throughout the season, even though we won 27 games and won a Panhandle Conference championship. Nothing was easy. Everything this group did, they had to do on their own. I want to take a minute to talk about our coaching staff. Ben Mandelbaum, Jordan Talley, Noah Croak. All 3 guys are going to be great Division I coaches. Everybody in this program, I would say, eventually is going to be a really successful participant in a Division I program. And because of the coaching staff's commitment to being in the gym all the time, to spending time building relationships outside of basketball, Coach Ben spent so much time in the weight room, in the gym, helping guys in study hall, making sure that they were turning things in on time. Coach Talley spent as much time as any junior college assistant in the history of junior college basketball in the gym, developing guys, working on their game. Coach Croak is a hellacious recruiter, a guy that has been so impactful in helping bring this class in. We'll continue to do that into next year's 2021 class. So I just have to say thank you for everybody that's been a huge part of this. Rob Chaney, our athletic director, is a lifelong Tallahassee Eagle, has been on board from day one. When I got the job, I said, Rob, we're going to make some pretty drastic changes. We're going to bring in an entirely new roster. We didn't return one player that played 1 minute for last year's Tallahassee team. So to be able to bring in 15 new guys on our roster, to have 8 guys signing today and knowing we're going to have 2 or 3 more down the line. And now we're excluding a guy that was freshman of the year and player of the year in our league, Al Ellis, who obviously returns for our team next year. So you think about that. 12 guys from this roster are going to be in Division I, and there are some other guys that redshirted that could be in Division I as well. So this program from day one, again, just embodies what family means. Family is not something that always, family doesn't always agree. Family doesn't always see eye to eye, but this group came together in moments when it mattered most. We had great practices all year. Competition was something that we were obviously telling guys in recruiting, competition is going to be tough every day in practice. You're going to have to bring it every day. But for Tallahassee men's basketball to go win the Panhandle Conference outright for the first time since 2001, have 8 guys signing Division I and counting, we're not done yet, to have coaches that are going to be moving on and moving up to the Division I level and Division II level, and have coaches that really invested in our players, and to hear the things that our guys said today, it's very humbling, it's very flattering. But I'm, as the head coach, just a small part of a very big puzzle that came together because guys chose to be a part of something that was much bigger than themselves.
Questions for Zach? Allison, any?
Yeah, I have a question. I mean, and you kind of touched on it there, but to have the guys say what they said, going to TCC changed my life. If I wouldn't be here, if Zach wouldn't have talked to me, just how does that make you feel as a coach? I mean, it's a grind to get here, but that's got to be kind of a sense of satisfaction for you.
Well, it's very humbling. I'll tell our guys all the time, the reward is in the work. Winning championships, winning games, cutting nets down, doing things on the basketball court that are lifelong memories, those are very special. But the relationships that this team created, the bonds that this team forged, will be there forever. These guys are a very close-knit group. This group message will last well into our 40s and 50s when these guys are having kids and getting married. So it's very humbling to hear the things that were said today, because this group really, they did it for each other. This group, every day when we walked into practice, they were pushing each other. And there were very hotly contested moments. There were times where we had guys that had to go through things And because of their teammates, because they could rely on each other, there was a tremendous trust factor that we had throughout the year. And I'm very proud because I would tell you the same thing, Allison. Coming to Tallahassee Community College changed my life. I was a high school coach in Louisville, Kentucky. I was hired by a guy that believed in me. I was very fortunate to step into a situation where we had great players on last year's team to help us have a strong finish in the Panhandle Conference. I appreciate Dr. Jim Murdaugh and Dr. Sherry Rowland and Rob Cheney and our administrative team for making me the youngest head coach in the history of Tallahassee basketball. And without those people, none of this happened. So I have to say thank you to those really honorable and very, I would say, faith-instilling people, because they gave a young guy a great opportunity, and I'm grateful for them. And just very proud to hear the things that we heard today, because this team is a special group in many ways, but a very special group, and very proud and glad that I was able to share a locker room and a season with a team that's going to make a lot of noise at the next level.
Just one more from me, but and I've kind of asked the guys this too. A little bit different situation, the new way of life, talking over Zoom and FaceTime and all that fun stuff. But to be able to gather with them and Coach Mack and his guys, just it doesn't take away from how much of how special a signing day is.
No, not at all. This is a very special day. Obviously, we're in different times. We're in uncertain times. But knowing how close this group is, whether we're on Zoom or whether we were in the Eagle Dome on signing day, none of that changes how close this family is. I'm very proud because ultimately, when you're in a family, that family lasts forever. And knowing that we're on Zoom today, while it's a different angle, certainly something we're such a close group, it really doesn't matter. We could be on Zoom, we could be on Skype, we could be in the gym, it doesn't matter. This team's always going to have each other's backs, and I'm proud of what they accomplished.
Thank you.
Joey, any questions for Zach?
Yeah, Coach, you said it was an all-new roster, and you said potentially at least 12 guys that might go D1, already 8 that have committed. Were there any common values that you saw in these guys that made you believe that, one, you could get them to Tallahassee, and two, that they will be able to play well together?
This team really took to the fact that they were going to have to work hard for each other and compete every day, because the competition in our practices really was ultimately what pushed this team to be really successful. There's no substitute for hard work, and I tell our guys every day, there's no growth without suffering. This team suffered together. We lost games. We lost 2 in a row in conference. We had to come back. After losing 2 in a row, we won 6 in a row. First time that had been done here in quite a long time on the men's basketball side in the Panhandle Conference. So, Joey, to answer your question, the common bond and the common ground that this team had was the willingness to compete and the willingness to work hard for the person standing next to them in the circle at the beginning and end of practice every single day. These guys embodied toughness. They embodied a really strong work ethic and a commitment to being the very best version of themselves every day, even when it wasn't always the most comfortable thing to be fighting for. They knew that if we all worked hard, we were successful, win the conference, get to Hutch, be in the national tournament, everyone will get what they want.
And just a follow-up question. When you bring in 15 new guys, a complete overhaul to your roster, as a coach, isn't that kind of nerve-wracking? I mean, it's kind of like big risk, big reward, right?
Well, Joey, I think at the junior college level, you can reconstruct a roster pretty quickly. Were there unnerving moments? At times, yes, but to be honest with you, this coaching staff, Ben Mandelbaum, Jordan Talley, Noah Croak, worked so hard in recruiting at forging relationships that were meaningful. I think when you recruit the right people, when you find guys that are about the right things, guys that have a chip on their shoulder, that may have been knocked down but are willing to get back up and keep fighting, I think those are the kind of guys that you can win with. In our program, we had guys that didn't necessarily have perfect experiences everywhere they were beforehand, whether it was not playing enough or having to go through some kind of trial or tribulation. This group came together because they all bonded over the fact that, hey, we're junior college sophomores. We have to be successful here. We have no other option. Failure is not an option. So when you take transfers that only have 1 year to play in junior college, the guys that are here, they have to make it work. And this group overcame adversity, bonded together, and really today, a very satisfying day to have 8 guys signing Division I. We know we'll have a few more than that before things are all said and done. That happened only because this group understood, hey, our back is against the wall. Failure is not an option. We have to work hard and be together every single day to make this thing work.
Anything else for Zach?
Zach, can you give us a look at what your favorite memory as a head coach this year was with your team?
Wow, Luke, that's a great question. A really tough one to answer. Watching Erick Esther hit a buzzer beater to beat Andrew College, really satisfying, because Erick Esther has been through ups and downs. And Erick's a kid that's just been through a lot. He's a tough kid. He's a very reliable kid because he ultimately understands that he's a guy that I think when you go through things that are hard, you develop a certain element of toughness. And Erick's a guy that, he and I had our moments this year for sure. And guys, I'm sure we'll have things in our group message later where we'll laugh about some of the moments Erick and I had this year together. But Erick's a guy that I was, we really tried to put into a position to be successful. So watching him hit a buzzer beater, very, very satisfying. I'll tell you another moment where after we lost to Georgia Highlands, we blew an 18-point lead in the last 4 minutes of the game. And to see how disappointed guys were in the locker room, that made me understand really early in the season that this was a team that could be really special, because we were legitimately upset. Guys were very upset in the locker room. And when you have guys that are upset, that means the group is about winning. And when you have a group that's about winning, obviously you have a chance to be really successful. So I'm really proud of every time we lost, every time we had a setback. Guys were very emotional when we lost in the Florida shootout to Miami-Dade. We had a long break to think about it. We came back. We had a great start to conference play. We won the first 3. Then we had more struggle. We went to Gulf Coast. We lost a close game at Gulf Coast. Then we go to Chipola. We got beat. And then we win 6 in a row because we found a way, again, to come together. We had very contentious moments in the locker room after our loss at Chipola. We had to figure out who we were and what we wanted to be. And we did that. We came together the very next game, and we blasted Northwest Florida by 40 points, which was, again, another thing that made me really proud, knowing, hey, this team, we have a group of fighters. We have guys that are tough, that are willing to work and come together even when there may be uncertainty. This thing may be starting to backslide and go sideways a little bit. So I'm just proud because early in the year, after our second game of the season, we played at Chipola. We played a team, Enterprise State, where we played very well. We shot the ball well. But after the game, I drew on the board in the locker room a big ocean where we had the boat on one side of the board and we had the final destination on the other side of the board. And we said it's not going to be smooth sailing, and we're going to make progress towards our ultimate goal, but there's going to be some hard times. We're going to go backwards. And this team had many chances where we hit a little bit of an iceberg, and we had a chance to let it grow bigger or to get the water out of there and fix the hole and keep going. And that's what this team did time and time again. I'll be honest with you. The proudest moment for me, after we lose on a half-court buzzer beater, where there's 1.7 seconds to go, and Maurice Gordon takes 2 dribbles, catches the ball facing our basket, and then, takes 2 dribbles, and in 3.5 seconds gets the shot off, and they count it, part of playing on the road. We had every reason to feel sorry for ourselves, to be upset, to say, you know what, well, it's been a great year, but maybe it's just not in the cards for us. And then we went to the state tournament. 10 days later, we were a little bit rusty. We struggled. We're down 13 points with 15 minutes to go in the game. We switched defenses. We put Davon Stevens in the game, who was all over the place at the top of the 1-3-1. And guys made big shots. Caleb Stevens, Tarik Silver, DeAndre Golston. I mean, every single guy we had on our team contributed. Yael Hill had every reason in the world to be mentally checked out. We didn't play him as much as he probably deserved to play. And then in the state tournament, 2 games, he has, I think, 12 points against State College, 11 against Eastern Florida, and 2 wins we had to have where we struggled offensively. Caleb Stevens, if Caleb Stevens isn't on our roster and doesn't make the decision to leave Francis Marion and come here, we might have lost to Andrew College, and maybe Erick Esther never beats a buzzer beater because Caleb Stevens gets a rebound on a missed free throw with 40 seconds to go in the game, down 2. He puts it back. We get a stop, and then Erick hits the game winner. So it's hard to choose one moment, Luke, that really stands out for me. But at the end of the day, I'll tell you, winning the Panhandle Conference outright for the first time since 2001, probably at the top. But having a team and coaching a team that overcame adversity, that fought through things that were really difficult, had all kinds of opportunities to quit and feel sorry for ourselves. And as much failure as we had to overcome, I'm proud of the way the guys fought through it.
Anything else for Zach? All right. Zach, thank you very much.
For sure.
Allison, did you need anything else after we kind of wrap up with the big group here?
I think I'm good. I think I talked to everybody I needed to talk to. Yeah, I think I'm good. Congrats to everybody.
All right.
Thanks so
Thank you
much,
very much.
Allison, Luke, Joey, for being here. Really appreciate you guys. Coach, thanks for listening to all our stuff.
Joy, did you want to stick around and get something from Leighton?
If I could, yes.
Okay, so I'll keep you here. And let me scroll down my list here. Bob, did you want some more with Coach McLeod and or Leighton?
Good, thank you.
You said no?
I'm good. Appreciate it.
Okay. All right. Well,
thanks, guys.
Again, to all the student athletes, congratulations. I hate how the season ended for everybody, and hate that we weren't able to do this for you in person. But as I said to start, it's still important that we take this opportunity to celebrate your accomplishments, and I'm extremely proud of you and for you. So you all can start to trickle out. Leighton and Coach McLeod, if you'll stick around for just a couple minutes with Joey Lamar and everybody else. Thanks a lot and have a good afternoon.
Thanks, guys. Go Eagles.
Hey, Bob. Check my... Joey, good to meet you, man.
Good to meet you, Rob.
Let's see. There's a coach, and let me unmute. Well, first, let me close out my chat so I can see everybody a little easier. Yeah, Leighton, Coach McLeod, this is Joey Lamar, the new sports director at WCTV. He jumped in kind of towards the end of Leighton speaking, so I wanted to be sure he had a chance to get any sound from you. So I will turn it over to Joey.
Thanks for doing this. We had a meeting here earlier, and it went a little past 2. That's why I wasn't able to get here on time. And so, you know, the new guy can't make any demands, so I had to wait. But Leighton, I just wanted to get your top line reaction to, you know, signing with Florida State. You know, obviously it's one of the premier baseball programs in the nation.
Right. You know, it's definitely a huge honor for me. Just being able to play at such a prestigious and a big program with such tradition like Florida State. I was saying earlier, you know, I grew up a Florida State fan. I mean, we got a Florida State wallet. I always had Florida State stuff all in my room, went to football games, baseball games. So for me to just kind of live out my dream and sign to a school that I've looked up to ever since I was little, it's been a dream come true of mine.
When you talked to Mike Martin Jr., did he tell you like what the plan was for you next spring? Like, are you expected to come in and compete, or are they thinking about possibly redshirting?
Yeah. So being a sidearm guy, I think it's definitely opened up a ton of opportunities for me that I really didn't expect, honestly. Being able to just kind of be a one-of-one guy, it's very unique. I think it kind of helps me stand out from other guys. You know, I'm not just another right-handed arm throwing upper 80s and stuff like that. So being able to do something different and offer something different to the staff that they can work with, I think, you know, will give me an opportunity to get some outings and some innings when I get there.
And I'm not going to use it. I just have a personal question about this. So as a sidewinder, are you worried about like the torque that it can put on your arm? You know, like, do you do any special maintenance? I know most people just do it, you know, elbow on the shoulder, elbow on the ice. But do you do anything special with your maintenance because you're a sidewinder?
I had a shoulder surgery coming out of high school. And so with that, I'm always kind of doing maintenance anyways, regardless of how I'm throwing. But really the whole transition to me sidearming was because of I was just having inconsistencies with my velocity and wasn't exactly, you know, just having the command and the pitches I used to have. And, you know, Mac one day just kind of threw the idea out there, and I was like, you know, I mean, I had nothing to lose. I was definitely open to it. And I personally thought it kind of gave me a relief on my shoulder. And I found like a consistent velocity and consistent pitches, and I still had my command and was able to throw strikes. So once I kind of got a feel for it and a lot more outings, I was just getting a lot more confidence with my pitches, and the coaches were getting confidence in me too. So, you know, it was definitely a really smart move for me.
And for Coach McLeod, I think we talked about it a little bit when I was in your office. We were going through you were going through your exit interviews. Can you remind me? You said how many consecutive years have you had someone from TCC sign at Florida State?
I don't really know exactly what it is, Joey, but most of the time, if you look at their roster, they've had a guy or two from TCC, which we're very proud of because we are the hometown junior college and they're the hometown university, them in Florida A&M. And, of course, I played there and coached there for a long time. And it's always I'm always very proud to send guys down there, and it gives us a chance to continue to follow him. Layton, when he committed to Florida State, I said, well, now you can come by, and he said, certainly will. So I look forward to you dropping by on a regular basis, Layton, and drag our Godby guy out there. Yeah, it's always an honor for us to send guys either there or to A&M. I actually coached Coach Shoup way back in 1982 and 83. So I'm very close to them as well. We've always had a guy or two over there as well. So something we shoot for.
I'm good, Rob. I don't have anything else.
All right. Leighton, I'm recording this. I don't know what I sent to you in the chat room. I'm recording this, and I'll send you the link. Because when we got started, I wasn't able to keep track of my email, and it looked like some of your family had emailed me trying to get the link.
Yes,
so
sir.
I'll get the link emailed to you, and you can pass that on to your family. And
Hey, Rob.
Yes.
Just one more thing for Joey. Most guys, when they drop down, it's a lot less stress on their arm. And I don't know if Joey's still there.
You
know, it's actually a lot less stress on your arm, so they're able to throw with less rest in between. And I think Layton definitely found that out. Last year, whenever he threw it, it would take about a 3 or 4 or 5 day time for him to recover, whether he threw 40 pitches or 60 or 65. And he was rocking out there at 30 pitches almost every time we ran him out there, and he was bouncing back usually with a day's rest. Always seemed to feel fine. So it's a lot easier to throw down there. It's easier on the shoulder. So just thought I'd throw that out there.
Thanks, Coach.
All right. Well, Joey, thanks again for jumping in with us, and I look forward to meeting you in person sometime soon.
I look forward to it too, Rob. Thanks for doing this. I really appreciate it.
All right. I appreciate it.
Rob.